Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today we are doing readings for whatever you need to know right now. So we have 4 cards from the Lepus Tarot, and we're going to be using the Elder Futhark on Willow wood. So feel into the cards. One of these cards, or more than one of these cards, will represent a reading with a message that you need to hear right now. And this is for whenever you find this video. So card number 1, card number 2, card number 3, or card number 4. I will put the timestamps in the description, and I will see you at the readings. Bye! Hello to all of you who chose card number 1. Let's turn this card over and get started on these readings. We have the World. So, for those of you who chose card number 1, gosh, this is the sort of card that you can't actually really know what it's going to be about until we put the runes down, because it could be about anything. Certainly completion of a sort, but yes, and it's also, if I just had this, I'd be like, I have no idea. Connect to whatever the divine is for you, because I have no idea. It's going to be like it could be any number of things. I'm going to lay down the entire reading to start with, and then we're going to see. You really hit this at a gallop. Oh my gosh. What you came to this from. But everything is opening up for you, it looks like, right now. And it's going to be pretty wild. It's like a whole new world for you. This is pretty neat. So how are you? Where I am, it's quite hot. We're actually going into we're having another heat wave today and tomorrow. And that doesn't mean I didn't brave it to get cookies this morning. It wasn't that hot yet, though, when I went out to get cookies. Cookies weren't the only thing I needed, but that was a part of my quest. Right, central issue for you, card number 1, people, is the blank rune. The blank rune is a blank page. It's the unknown. You may be feeling like you're moving through I don't really see the murk so much. So usually I'll see this and I'll say, okay, well, moving through a murky time, but I'm really just seeing this as new ground. This is like a trackless, mapless newness that you're on the ground of. And as I said, you hit this at a gallop. So I think at this point you passed through, like, not a portal, I guess a portal, but kind of like a portal that you didn't notice until you were there. You came at it at a gallop, basically. We have Avaz, which is the rune of the horse, movement, and also spirit, and you were just really at top speed coming at this. So it's just, I have to think you must have wanted to come to this, and so it's just like this gallop to get to this point, and you did, and suddenly you've passed through into a whole other universe, basically, where there's no map yet, because you will be making that map as you make your path through it. What is going to help you? We have Laguz reversed. Laguz is the rune of water. It's emotion, intuition, heart, and flow. I'm reminded of that old story, and I think it's a Taoist story. It could be a Zen story. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for those of you who know. But it's the whole thing about how, if you've never experienced a thing before, then you can't know if it's a good experience or a bad experience, which I don't entirely agree with, because obviously the example I've used, if you get a punch in the eye, that's not going to be a good experience, even if you've never had one before. So, but anyway, but it's the whole thing about reserving your emotional, your commitment to your emotional reaction to a thing while you work out what it's going to be like. You can obviously acknowledge, hey, maybe this isn't something I enjoyed. You might acknowledge that, but in terms of just making a full judgment on what it's going to be, and also just to withhold, not withhold, but be careful of the emotions that you're going to experience at this time, I think, because this is completely new ground, and you're going to have reactions to things, and those are not things that you're going to be able to really help, but what you do with it, of course, obviously, is what you can help. So this is sort of the recommendation to surf negative emotions. Look to your dreams. If you are somebody who remembers your dreams, look to your dreams, because they will definitely give you guidance and at least give you a good idea of where you feel like you're at. I mean, the thing about dreams is they're a best fit. And so that's why it's very important to pay attention. If you are somebody who remembers their dreams, what is the air conditioner doing? It's like growling. But anyway, it's like if you go to a new job and then you suddenly start dreaming about when you were back in school and being bullied, then that's going to tell you how you feel about your new job, basically. Among other things that dreams are, because dreams are a lot and they're extremely, well, if you're somebody who works with your dreams and remembers your dreams, then you know. Also, seek your deep inner heart. Connect with that, because that's going to be very important. Like you might be getting into intuitive flashes about this as well, but also let things flow within, basically. So emotions are like weather anyway. So if you are feeling surges of unpleasant emotions, let them flow, observe them, make sure that you're acknowledging them. But it's something that definitely to keep on top of, as far as don't identify with them, don't cling to them. Yeah, be very, very patient with what you're going through, because this is brand new. It's brand new, and you don't have any sort of procedure for this. You don't have any gauge. And yeah, what's going to help the most is be very, very patient with yourself and the situation, because you've never been here before. You just not. And so we have Ivaz, which is the rune of the yew tree. This is patience and slow growth and step by step. So, and there is also the indication you might want to have like a little bit of moving between worlds kind of thing, but I think you're really through. So I'm sort of just focusing on the patience part. What isn't going to help is it's very overwhelming. It's just like suddenly you gallop, and there you go. You went right through into this other universe, and now it's a lot. You're worried about energy levels, but it's just the blazing of the sun and the blazing of the sun, basically. This is the sun and this is the breaking of the day. So it's all of the blazing. Your entire field of vision is filled and illuminated. It's everything. Definitely you are, since Willow is here, there is a worry about energy levels, but also just heat, like the heat of how do I deal with all of this? And of course, Daga's breaking of the day does have to do with overload and in the negative spot. So definitely you're going to feel like this is a lot, because it's a whole new universe that you're in, like huge, massive difference to where you were. So this is, again, time to connect with heart and be very, very patient as you move forward, and definitely just take it step by step, because it's huge. Your next step on the path line, and what's pinning the entire reading, is Hagalaz, which is the rune of the hailstorm. This is chaos and things that are out of your control, and also natural forces, and as well your own nature, your own true nature. This is the crux of the whole thing. There is a lot here that is going to be out of your control. There is a lot here that is going to feel very wild and chaotic to you. You are reminded that you too are a force of nature. Even in this new universe, you are arriving as a force of nature. I'm getting that you're going to want to separate out where you end and where the things around you begin, very much, because what you have in your sphere with your nature, you have some direction with. What is not part of that, you do not. So you might dance with it, but you won't be able to change it. Like if you step outside and it's raining, you can't stop it from raining, but you can put up an umbrella. That's basically the thing. So what you have control over is you and your nature, your own nature. Not even control, but what you have direction over and what you can do things with is you, and that's you and the umbrella, and everything else is the rain and the universe. So that's the step you're going to be at as soon as you finish adjusting to the fact that you've passed through into a new universe at this point. I mean, of course, this is figurative. For some of you, it might be literal if you're doing like astral work, and if you're doing like journey work and things. There might be, on a spiritual level, you may have reached a point where you just have never been before, and you're dealing with that, and you're just adjusting to that. Figuratively, though, for anyone who's generally not doing that kind of thing, it may be just a life situation where you've worked really, really hard to get to a point, or you've just rushed to get to a point, and then suddenly here it is, and everything is changed. what is going to help you at this point, when things are feeling very chaotic and you're sorting out between what is your nature and what is the nature around you, which of course is all connected anyway, but it's, as I said, it's the umbrella and the rain, is see this as a really, really, really new beginning. You are incubating a new you. We have Berkana reversed, which is the rune of the beginnings and birth. It's reversed on the upper line, so there is a sense of inner, new incubation of self beginning to unfurl. I'm also seeing this as if there was something that you wanted to barrel forward and begin, or if there is something that you did continue to barrel forward and begin, this is the time to backtrack. Like, take a few steps back and make sure that you're all caught up as you move forward. Like, don't just barrel on ahead because that was your momentum, although you may be tempted to do so. Actually, I don't see that so much. Just basically, you're moving forward at a comfortable pace so that you can integrate what you're experiencing, but also make sure that you're catching up with yourself. Make sure you're caught up. So if you find that you're sort of turn around and take a few steps back until you're caught up with what it is, and then keep moving forward, because this is huge, and you need to be doing these things. You need to be acclimatizing to your new environment and also your new you. What isn't going to help is just freezing, basically. I've mentioned this before. I know from experience that I have I used to have a tendency to go like catatonic in states of calamity. And so it's like, I get it. When things are just overwhelming, to just freeze and like constrict in on oneself. And this is coming from and then you get into this new world and everything is overwhelming and you just feel like just balling up and tightening and contracting and being frozen and still and stuck and not moving forward. This is a gentle moving forward. It doesn't feel like it because it's sort of like a breathing, where you move forward a little and then you just sort of move back a little bit, make sure that you're caught up, and then move forward a little bit more and just basically testing it. And this goes along with Ivaz here. Your next step on the path line, we have Gabo. Gabo's the rune of the gift. This has to do with it's always an exchange, but it's agreements, decisions, goals, and plans. So this is the step at which you're going to say, okay, we're going to make a plan here. We're going to set some new goals. We're going to make some agreements with ourselves and make some decisions, and we're going to do that. That's going to be something we're going to do. What's going to help you with that is allowing yourself to expand your field of vision, get a slighter, and it's not like this where you're getting the huge whole big picture, but you're like allowing yourself, because this step here, you were very, very focused, like very tightly focused on, okay, where's the border between myself and the things around me? And what can I control and what can't I control, and what is me and what isn't? This is just widening that. This is widening that a little bit, so you can have a better overview of what's happening. And the more you allow in, the better you'll be able to make your plans. What isn't going to help is just forcing the plans, like forcing things to be what you want them to be without opening out a little bit. Basically, like you're still coming from this situation where you're feeling like very tight and constricted and constrained and like contracted. And so you're like, before I even uncontract a little bit, I'm just going to like make everything around me be what I want it to be. But then, you may as well have not gone through the portal, because you're just basically creating what you had before, and that's not going to help you because you are moving forward. You've made a great transcendent step. So definitely not going to help you. And it's also going to sort of keep you from seeing what you need to see, which is new. So bring yourself back out to where you're expanding your field of vision. It's count as, it's the torch or the fire, and opening out, and then based on that, making your plans. And what this is all going to lead you to is you resuming your journey, because you will have been prepared at that point. You'll be prepared to resume your journey into this new world that you are now inhabiting, because you'll be set. You'll have your plans. You'll have worked out your boundaries, and that's really important. So that, card number 1, people, is your reading for what you need to know right now. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 2, people. Welcome, welcome. So let's turn this card and let's get started on this reading of what you need to know right now. So let's see, we have the Magician. So when I was pulling cards earlier, This deck, for some reason, is really big. Like, it's thick, and it's like the cards want to jump out. And so this is the first card that jumped out, and I put it back. And I said, look, I'm going to shuffle it, I'm going to cut it, I'm going to find the 4 cards that way. But after the second and third card jumped out, like literally jumped out, I said, all right, we're doing it that way. And so after I pulled the 4th card, the 4th card ended up being relatively shy. It just sort of popped out a little bit. It didn't leap out. So I went back and I refound the Magician, because that was the first one to jump out today for this reading. So we're definitely going with the Magician. Card number 2, people. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, my goodness gracious. We just had this as the central issue on the first one. That's just fascinating. I do mix these. That one just jumped into my head. Gracious. You know what? It's like a high gravity day. No. But it's like things are being very insistent. I think it's a combination of it being the Willow runes and the Lepus Tarot, which are very... they don't pull punches, and they also they tend to be very eager, I think is the word I'm looking for. A lot of the same runes that I saw in the previous one, although not all of them. But this is really interesting. Alrighty. Your central issue, why is this flopping around? Sorry about that. Let's get this straight. Okay. Your central issue is blank runes. So first of all, Magician, you are very much very skilled at this point in all aspects of what you feel you need to be doing. We have a good grasp of the 4 elements. We have a good grasp of how they go together, and so you're in a quite a deft position of skill and experience, and you're very strong in what you know you want to do. So here you are, you're facing something new. Blank rune is basically new ground. You don't have a map for this. You've never been here before. This actually, leading up to this, you actually got yourself here with a plan. In fact, you've just completed something as well. So this is GABO, it's agreements, decisions, goals, and plans. It's always an exchange. It's a gift. So the gift is always an exchange. And so you not only got here based on a plan and study, which is probably this, and now you've completed that, and now you're in a whole new world. You're in like whole new ground for what you want to be doing. What is going to help you is that you're actually very supported at this point. We have Algies, which is the rune of the elk. This is protection and support. You are both protected and supported, and we even see a bit of that here. With the sword, and also even just in the general shape of the ears and the one. So you are in a situation of support, whether this is with other people and or with systems around you, and or with what you have built up around you with what you've been doing. So you're definitely supported in this, whatever it is that you're working on. And wherever you are, which is somewhere completely new that you've never been here before. And I think that's actually part of what this was you set everything up so that it would be safe for you and that you would be supported and protected when you got here. What isn't going to help you is, I'm going to read this a few ways. First of all, momentum from what you were working on before. There's still a bit of habit to that, and you feel tempted to continue with it. And certainly there are meditative practices that you want to continue because they will always help you no matter where you are and in what situation. But you don't want to carry on with things that no longer serve you. You got the things that got you here and that you don't need anymore because you're here now. You don't need to carry forward, and they're just basically taking energy from you that you would like to be using in your new place. The other thing is Raido is the journey rune. It's an upright rune in the negative spot, so this is worries about that thing. You're actually a little bit concerned about where you are, hoping that this is the right journey for you, because you're continuing your journey now that you've reached this point where everything is new. And so there's a little bit of concern there. If you feel that concern, if that starts to drag you down, bring yourself back up to reminding yourself that you are very supported and protected. In fact, a lot of what you did here was putting things in place to make sure that you had that support and protection. So you're okay. Your next step on the path line, and what's pinning the entire reading, is Uruz. Uruz is the rune of the wild ox. This has to do with strength and health and stubbornness in terms of stick-to-itiveness, where you are not going to back down from what you're doing. You're very strong in that. You will face into storms, and you will dig in, and you will resist anything that might try to sway you from what you're doing. So that's a really strong quality, and that's actually what got you to this point. So just remembering that and just recalling that to mind, because you're going to have to put it into use. What's going to help you here is just see this as the quest that it is. We have Tivaz, which is Tyr's rune. Tyr is the warrior god, but he also has to do with taking care of duties and responsibilities, as well as taking care of what needs to be taken care of, doing what must be done. And so those things, first of all, see it as a quest that's going to help you carry forward and be strong and not back down, but also to make sure that you're taking care of what needs to be taken care of in your day. The whole, carry water or chop wood thing. Make sure that that's going on. That's stuff you're not going to let go of. That's you got to take care of that every day. So the things that you need to take care of every day, take care of them. Definitely going to help you. What isn't going to help you is rather overwhelming. We have Dagaz, which is the rune of the breaking of the day. Again, we're in whole new ground. Like you haven't been here before. So you being very strong in it is very good. Being very, very steady is very, very good, but there's still that sense of overwhelm because you've not, you've not been in this situation before, and it's a lot. So we have Dagaz, which is, the full illumination is like blazing, everything coming at you at once, and it's a lot, and it's hard to, it's hard to know what to pay attention to sometimes, and, what you need to ignore. So again, if that starts to be the case, bring yourself back up to where you are driving forward and just taking care of what needs to be taken care of. So, even if things are overwhelming, you will always have, the chop wood, carry water, cook rice, the things the things that give you grounding in situations where everything's coming at you. Your next step on the path line is we have Ingvaz. Ingvaz is another name for Ingvaz is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. I always read this as active creation, and this is basically where this whole path is kind of like you've completed this thing, you've moved on to new ground. This is where you set up your foundation, and this is where you build your house. So you're really setting things up in this stage where you can be very, very comfortable. Both of these are about that, but this is like digging in, and then this is like building around you what you need to create around you to what you need from what you have to be what you need to have around you. That sounded like it was a circle, but it actually wasn't. What is going to help you is be still. Allow yourself to be still. Allow yourself to have that stillness through which clarity comes. We have Isa, which is the rune of ice. This is the rune of standstill and stillness. And again, it's the stillness that when you allow it, then the clarity starts to come through. So that's going to help you know what you need to do to get things arranged so that things things are shaped the way that you want them to be shaped. This almost matches this guy. This lagomorph, and this is your stage. So in order to do it right, be sure to, and we have Isa, and then we have a one that looks like Isa. So give yourself that time, give yourself that space, and that stillness where you're going to get the clarity coming in of what you need to be doing to set things up the way that you need them to be. What isn't going to help, this is not the time to back out of this. We have Berkana reversed. Berkana is the rune of the birch tree. This is beginnings and birth. It's reversed in the lower line. I am going to read this a couple ways, but the main way I'm going to read this is you've just started this. You've started this, and you've started it really well. This is not the time to go back. Okay, we only want to move forward here. You're doing really well. By this stage, you're doing really, really well. You actually stuck to this when it would have been so easy to go back out through the door that you came in. And you stuck to it to the point where you're starting to build here now. And you're really being able to be still here now. And you're bringing all of this with you. Like, you have all your resources. So even though it's uncomfortable because it's new, there's no purpose in going back to what you had before. Just none. So yeah, bring yourself back up to, it's like, no, I've stuck it out up to this point. It's not like it's unpleasant, because it isn't. It's just new. And this is where you wanted to go. You worked to get here. So be still, allow the clarity to come through, and construct around you what you need that helps you feel comfortable while you're here. By the end of that, we have Avaz, which is the rune of the horse. This is movement and also spirit. And this is you basically taking off at a gallop, because now you've established foundation. Now that you've established a comfort zone in this new world, you can totally do that. You can totally now, off we go. Let's let spirit carry us forward into this new world, because you have grounding now. You have grounding, and you have comfort in terms of like something that you can come back to that's familiar. And then you're like, okay, I have this now. Let's move forward. And then you do. Gallop, gallop, gallop. So that, card number 2, people, is your reading for what do you need to know the most right now. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 3, people. Let's get started. Let's turn it and see what we need to know the most right now. We have strength. This is very cool. All the cards so far, I don't know what the 4th one's going to be, but all the cards so far have been major arcana. And that's pretty exciting. It says to me that we are going through a very mythic moment in our, I mean, not that all moments aren't mythic, but we're going through a very mythic moment collectively, I think. I thought that was like stuff on the thing, but it's blood. I mean, it's the Lagomorph's blood. So, strength. You are in a situation where you are taming a thing. You're taming your instincts. Not taming, but you're how do I want to put this? You're resonating with your instincts, and you're becoming okay with each other. I'm going to lay out the entire reading, and then I'm going to read. This is really neat. I really, really, really mixed these between readings, because the first 2 readings had a lot of the same runes in them. Not that that's a problem, like, because they all fall in different places, mostly. But I really wanted to mix them to make sure that they were really mixed this time. And we're still getting a couple of them that I'm seeing that are the same. But I mean, it's the whole thing about, there's only 24 of them, so. Right, your central issue for what you need to know the most right now, card number 3, people, we have Nauthiz, which is the rune of need. This always means tend your needs. It's basically just being aware. It's not an emergency, but it's like, let's make sure that we're taking care of what we need to take care of. So, connecting with your strength and befriending it is definitely a thing. I'm not sure about the blood that's coming out of this rabbit, but they seem to be becoming one in this image, which is kind of neat. So leading up to this, we have the blank rune. The blank rune is, honestly, in this case, I'm reading this kind of as a misty, murky time that you've come from, where you didn't really have a direction, and now you're like, no, we need to deal with this, because it very likely had to do with your relationship to your strength, where there was instinct happening, and it was a surprise to you, and you were like, well, I can't help that, and I can't control that. It's like, well, okay, first of all, if it's you, it's something that is important to at least connect with, build a relationship with, befriend if possible, and then then it turns into a conversation instead of like, I don't know why I lashed out, But if you build that conversation, then that will give you some warnings beforehand. It'll say, I'm really feeling like blah blah blah, and then with more clarity than blah, blah, blah. What's going to help you? So you've come through a period of time when things were relatively murky. Things were kind of like in a fog, and you weren't really clear on your connection. And this led to feeling wounded in a lot of ways, where you felt like these things would happen, and then you'd be like, why is everybody looking at me like this? It's because it's me, but it wasn't the me that you were used to that had done the thing, and then you sort of disconnected from that for some of you. Otherwise, it's just a matter of it's like connecting with your strength, getting to know it, merging with it, integrating it, and having it be a much more clear connection than it was before. So you're not going to be like, I'm innocent, even though you were the one that did the thing. So then when you embody them both, then you can both be innocent, because you're going to be a lot more connection and have that dialogue happening. I keep saying that, and you'll know why in a couple of runes. So here you are in a situation where it's like, okay, obviously this is a need that needs to be taken care of. We need to deal with this. We need to make this connection, because right now we're slightly at odds. What's going to help you is embrace this as the challenge of your life, basically. We have Thurizaz reversed. Thurizaz is the rune of the thorn, the giant, the gateway. It is the rune of the challenge. It is reversed on the upper line. So it's not an open door. It's something that's going to be a challenge for your life that it's like the challenge. It's like you're going to spend the rest of your life working with this and working on this, and this is one of your life's challenges, like one of your life's work. And it's something that you will, if you embrace it and you love it as a thing that it's like, this is me finding out how much me there is, and and just getting to know all the parts of me and integrating them and loving them and learning to be with them. And so this is this is not an easy thing at all, but it's worth it. So this is what's going to help you. What isn't going to help you is just basically giving up. We have Tivaz reversed, which is Tyr's rune. Tyr is the warrior god, but he has to do with taking care of duties and responsibilities, as well as taking care of what needs to be taken care of. So in the lower line, this is where you just basically, like, these things happen that are you, but it's a part of you. It's like your shadow self that you're not really integrating yet, and that you feel like it's not you, so you don't. It's like, I don't know. I didn't have control. I lost control. I don't acknowledge or own that part of me, and just sort of like, yeah, but it's you. So maybe something needs to be done. And so just basically like laying down your will as far as like, nope, not gonna bother with that. That's just the way it is. It is what it is. Which, like, ugh. It's like, don't even. So. Yeah, giving up on this, like, you see the need and then just like dropping your sword and going, nope, not going to bother with that. That's definitely not going to help you or anyone around you or anything. It's not going to help. So bring yourself back up to, it's like, no, we're going to take this on because it's worth it. It's worth it. It's going to help me. It's going to help everything. So what this is, your next step on the path line, we have Ansu's, which is the rune of communication, manifestation, and expression, which is why I was saying you're going to be opening up a dialogue, and it's going to be it's not going to be, I mean, this is not reversed, so it's not necessarily even an inner dialogue, but this is definitely a very important outer dialogue in your life, and it has to do with manifestation, and it has to do with expression. So there is a sense where you are going to be, and you might even want to communicate with this, about this with people who can help you, people you trust, people who, you can communicate comfortably and openly with about. That's definitely possible. I do see this, though, as a dialogue with even though this is not reversed, I do see this based on this as an inner dialogue kind of thing happening as well, but where you're initiating that. But this is manifestation. This is about your expression of yourself in the world. And so this is your focus on how are you going to express yourself in the world, because the way it was before, where you didn't feel like you felt, where you sort of felt helpless, you felt like things weren't in your control, which were you. So this is definitely the key to the whole thing, is opening that dialogue maybe with the people around you that you trust, and also finding this way to express yourself in the world that is true. What is going to help you? We have Fehu, which is the rune of wealth and worth. Basically finding the worth of this, finding the value of this. Again, this is worth it, and this is worth it, and it's really important to do that. It's a very valuable thing to do in your life, and it's totally worth it. You'll be happy with yourself. You won't have these parts of time where you're like, I don't like that part of me. It's like, okay, well, get to know it, and maybe you'll find out why, and all those things, which is very important. What isn't going to help is, once again, just like giving up, just saying, it's like, that's who I am. That's who I am. Can't do anything about it. It's like, you have control over that. You are you, and you're controlling your corporeal container, and you can have some choice in what you do. I worked in a daycare center back in 1992, one summer, and there was this little guy, and it was nap time, and he was sitting there going, and like all the other little kids, it was like 3 to 5 year olds. Obviously, some of them who weren't asleep yet were not going to go to sleep because they were listening to this. And we're whispering to the little guy, and we're like, please just be quiet. And he's like, I don't know how. So, and this later would come into like these conversations about what you have control over, and you have choice. You have choice. You're not just born to be like this. I mean, maybe you are. Okay. So yes, this is part of you. It is part of how you were born, but you're going to worry about this. Okay. I'm going to read this a couple ways. First of all, just because this was your birthright, which it is, and what you've come through with, doesn't mean you can't work with it, doesn't mean you can't dance with it, doesn't mean you can't have a choice in how you express, because you always have a choice in how you express. This is how we are adults and grown-ups and things, where we're like, I sure would like to something that's an intrusive thought, but I know that if I do that, then this and this and this, and I'm not going to do that because that's not good. So bring yourself back up to where you do have, you are looking at your value and your worth, and where you're going to feel good about things. You know, and this, the other thing about Fehu is Fehu's cattle, so it's the wealth that you tend. The things that, as long as you take care of them, will give your life meaning and worth. And it's the same as this. So you're finding a new way to express. You're working with this aspect of yourself, and you're integrating that, and you're finding a way. You're taking care of that so that when you do this, it's going to make you feel worthy. It's going to make you feel good about things. And it's better than just, leaving things where they feel like they're out of your control. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually going to put down a couple more. I know yeah. But I'm going to make sure that, because this connects you to source and your truth, if you do that. But you may feel obligated. I mean, this is being true to yourself in terms of instinct, but it's also not, because you have a choice and you can choose to be somebody that you're happier with. So yes, you have instincts, and sometimes they overwhelm you. However, you always have a choice. You always have a choice. Mr. Rogers even sang a song about that, how good it feels when you can stop yourself from doing something that is going to be not going to make you or anybody else happy. So, yeah. So don't feel obligated to embody this when it comes through, if it's causing problems for you. Like if it's causing problems for you as what you want to express in the world. Your next step on the path line, we have Pertho, which is the lot box. This has to do with surprises and fate. Once you get this sorted out, things are going to reveal themselves to you that couldn't before, because you're connecting with this and you're finding a new way to express. And once this feels comfortable with you, it's going to reveal something to you. And again, this is, I'm reading this as though it's reversed, but it's upright, because this is going to be about your outward expression. So it's going to start to, once it's integrated, start to express something that is actually going to be a truer expression of who you are, which you didn't even see coming, but once you start doing it's what was always there. So what's going to help you at this point? We have Ingvaz, which is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. I read this as active creation. You have the choice, and I mentioned this before, it's always a choice. You have the choice to shape now what you have around you and how you're going to present in a way that you really want. Like, it's an active thing now. So that's definitely what's going to help. Like, as you express and as this new integrated self expresses, you have the choice now to shape that and to sort of tweak it and to work with it and to polish it. What isn't going to help is we have Isa, which is the rune of ice. Again, this is standstill. This is, stillness. This is contracting. I mean, this may be sort of things like when you open your mouth and then you express something that you didn't expect, but it's not a bad thing. It's just a new thing. And you couldn't have expressed it this way if you hadn't been working on integrating this. And this might freak you out and you might like contract and like freeze on this. But it's also having to do with like not doing anything and going into stagnation and just not like going ahead with that. So none of that's going to help. Bring yourself back up to where you are shaping. You're working on it. You're continuing to work on yourself. And this is all moving forward from, this is my challenge of my life. I'm going to continue to work on this. And I'm going to make sure that I'm taking care of what needs to be taken care of. I don't see there's T-Vows. I'm going to take care of my cattle, basically, the things that give me a sense of wealth and worth and richness in the world. I'm going to take care of those things, which is going to connect me to whatever source is for me. And then I'm going to work with what I have to tweak that, to make that even better, so that when I'm expressing myself and when this starts to feel comfortable expressing itself through me, through the filter of what I'm, of holding on to it, and integrating that and the love that you're going to find for that, things are going to just get better and better. And what this is going to lead you to is we have Vunyo reversed, which is very interesting because Vunyo is the rune of joy. I'm really seeing this as accessing a deeper inner joy that's going to begin. Like it's a new beginning of joy that you've tapped into that you just didn't realize was even there. But what this also is saying to me is that you're going to become very aware of where there are discontentments because you're in connection with this now. This is sort of like, it's sort of like inner child, but it's sort of like inner instinctive lion. So because you will have started that dialogue with it and because you'll have that connection with it, you will it will feel comfortable telling you. So if you're in a situation where before you would have just mindlessly lashed out, it's going to say, hey, this is making me uncomfortable. I feel like I'm getting my bristles up and I'm starting to not be comfortable with this. I'm starting to not be happy and I'm starting to feel a little scared. And like I'm feeling like I have to do something about it. And then instead of mindlessly and blindly lashing out like before, you're going to say, okay, let's sit with this. Let's work on this. How do we fix this? And then through that, you're going to grow your inner joy together. So that's a very interesting reading. That is your reading, card number 3, people, of what you need to know right now. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 4, people. Welcome, welcome. Let's see what you need to know the most right now. What do we need to know the most right now? We have Knight of Cups. This is literally the only non-major arcana in this session. The cards were major arcana, and it was just like, whoa. It was like, whoa. Knight of Cups. So you are about to ride forward in a new endeavor that has to do with creativity, perhaps with love, definitely with emotion, definitely with your heart leading. It's exciting. Let's get some runes down and see what this is about. From like stillness, which is really interesting. This is probably why he's standing still and not galloping. So that's really interesting. It's like I don't want to say internal quest, but let's get all these runes down and see what's going on. Neat. This is definitely an internal thing, but it's like a quest, which is very cool. It's like a quest of stillness, but very neat with a rebirth in there and joy. This is very cool. This is very cool. Wow. Yes, very neat. Very neat. Okay. Your central issue for this this new thing that you're doing, which is like you're going to be doing a lot while standing still, and it's a driving forward kind of thing, but you're not going to be galloping. You're going to be being very still, and any movement you're doing is going to be internal. We have Isa, which is the rune of ice. Ice is the rune of ice, and it's the rune of standstill and the stillness through which clarity comes. So this is really going to be your focus. You're bringing this through. This is really exciting. I mean, it could be very creative as well, but just like you're tapping into this. You're tapping into a thing. Leading up to this, we have Rydho reversed. Rydho is the rune of the journey. I'm going to read this a couple ways as well, but look at all the reversals, reversal on the path line. So like it's kind of like a yin yang reversal steps on the path line. And in fact, one of the upright ones is one of the ones that has no reversal, which is Isa, which is like we're going to be still. So leading up to this, we have Rydho reversed. Rydho is the rune of the journey. Reversal, at this point, I'm going to read this as you've just recently wrapped up a journey. You've just recently wrapped up a chapter in your life. But also, I see this as diving into an inner journey at this point. It's like you've gone inner, you've gone deep at this point. So you've wrapped up an outer journey, and you've sort of dove under the ground, not under the ground, but you've gone deep. You've gone into it. And it's going to be like an inner focus kind of thing. And you are going to be doing that wave kind of thing, like various degrees of depth. So here you are starting this quest, but from stillness, which is just really neat. And I don't see galloping anywhere. In fact, I see the opposite of galloping in it, even at the culmination. What is going to help you is tap into your source energy, whatever source energy is for you, whatever the source is, whatever it is that whenever you do it, you feel like it's connecting you to your true self. It always energizes you. It always nourishes you. Whatever that is, do that. Keep that near to hand, because that's going to continue to fuel you as you bring in what you're getting from source. Because the whole thing is going to be about connecting to source, whatever source is for you, and letting that clarity flow into you to fill your cup. What isn't going to help is we have Yira in the negative spot, which whenever I see Yira in the negative spot, especially here in this particular case, I see this as worries about how much time has passed, how little time may be left, and what do I have to show for it. And basically seeing Rydho reversed here, where it's you've just ended a journey and you're taking the journey inward, there's a sense of, why didn't I do this before? Why is this the first time in my life I've done this? And the answer always is you couldn't have done it until now. So if you start to beat yourself up about this, if you start to worry about that and it starts to drag you down, bring yourself back up to you're connecting with source, you're connecting to whatever source is for you, you're tapping into whatever, you're accessing whatever gives you to renew your source energy, to renew your energy. You couldn't have done this until now, and this will remind you of that you're right now, you're in the right place. You're doing, and you always were. You're always exactly where you need to be, even if it's uncomfortable, because that's important, because then you say, okay, well, I need to keep moving. But definitely, like, that's the thing. If that starts to drag you down, reconnect with what gives you that energy, and you will know that you're in the right place. Your next step on the path line, we have Mana is reversed. Mana is the rune of humanity and your part in it. Basically that sense of belonging, and this is what's pinning the entire reading, is that you are finding a sense of belonging with yourself, which maybe you haven't had before. Maybe you were just out and about running around, and that's like I'm done. I have to become comfortable with me at this point. So now you're working on that. You're focusing on, it's like, how do I face myself with joy? And this is the whole thing. This is like what it's all about is, how do I do that? How do I make that connection with myself so that I can find a sense of belonging with myself? What is going to help you is we have Gabo. Gabo's the rune of the gift. This is agreements, decisions, goals, and plans. The gift is always an exchange. So, we're exchanging. This is about finding. See, that exchange there is up there as well. So, make some plans, set some goals. Find out what you need from that. I'm going to lay down a couple more. Yeah, have that communication. Have that communication. You and the universe, man. And this is going to be all about expressing yourself in the world. But it's going to be about communication. Have that exchange one-on-one with you. Maybe even with other people that you trust and love and care about and whose opinion matters to you. And this goes for this as well. This can also be one-on-one interactions. So Ansu's communication, manifestation, Gabo, the rune of the gift. That's what's going to help you, is connect with, either one-on-one with yourself or one-on-one with somebody that you trust. Have that communication happening, have that expression happening, and work on manifesting in that case. So I really see this as like opening up that communication with, even though this is not reversed, with yourself, but also others that matter. Others that matter to you in your life. Not that everybody doesn't matter, but in this particular context, with people who you trust. What isn't going to help you is we have Lagus and we have Algae reversed. I'm just seeing this basically as things can get very emotional. You're worried about that. It also may overpower you and overwhelm you. That could drag you down. That could make you feel like, no, this is too much. This is too much. And when that happens, it's going to be like, nobody's supporting me. It's just me. Well, but you're learning how to support yourself, basically. Yes, you have to learn how to support yourself. You have to learn how to protect yourself and stand up for yourself. But that's not a bad thing, because then you'll be able to do that. I mean, here he is standing up. So if that starts to drag you down, if that starts to be the case, bring yourself back up to where you are making a plan, you're setting some goals, you're having some one-on-one interactions with people that you trust and care about and whose opinion matters to you, but also making plans, setting goals, and making some agreements, making some decisions about things. Because what's very important at this point, the whole thing is pinned by this, is to become comfortable with yourself, to become to the point where you can face yourself with joy, to become to the point where you can, where you feel you belong when you're with yourself. So your next step on the path line, this is where you start to feel the joy. We have Vunyo, which is the rune of joy. And there it is. It's a whole step where it's about that, because you've done it. You've done it. In this step, which pins the entire reading, you've done it. You've connected with yourself on a level that you can finally feel comfortable and that you belong. This is what you were going for all along. You had to take this quest off by yourself to do this, and facing your emotions as well. Although the emotions would be faced. And sometimes they were a problem. You were worried about them, but you worked with them. You interacted. You connected. So it's all there. And so now the next step after that is you're having joy. You're beginning to be able to step out into the world and have that joy. And the joy shows through because you're able to be comfortable with yourself. What's going to help you is definitely see this as a new birth. See this as a new beginning. Some of you might even want to choose a new name at this point. Like, this is the level of it. I mean, look at this. Look at this. These are upright. Okay? This is you going back out into the world, and new and renewed and with joy. And so, brand new beginning. Embrace this new beginning. You are being rebirthed into the world. You are rebirthing yourself. What isn't going to help is we have Uruz, which is the rune of the wild ox. This is strength, health, and stubbornness. And in the lower line in this case, you may feel like you might want to be stubborn and dug in and just be stuck and not move forward and just basically like, no, I'm not going to do this. I know we just had this. We just did one on these, but I want to look at this as well. Yeah, embrace your challenge as well. So as well as this is your new birth, embrace this as what may be an impossible challenge, but it's not, it's yours. So that's wonderful, the new birth. So yeah, so this is what isn't going to help you. We have Uruz and we have Ingvaz. Ingvaz is active creation, and both of these are upright runes in the negative spot, so they are worries about these things. First of all, you might be worried about, how strong you feel now. You might worry that you might not be accepted if you're this strong. You might also worry about, what am I creating in the world? But also what isn't going to help you is digging in and not moving forward, and also trying to force things to be something that they're not, which I think you were doing before. That would be habit from before, where you were like, whatever, but you weren't in alignment with yourself. And so definitely the runes are warning against going back to that kind of thing. Bring yourself back up to, no, I'm emerging into the world. I'm rebirthing myself. This is my new challenge and my new project. And I am feeling joy that I'm sure is visible to others at this point, because I took this step and I've made connection with myself in a way that I'm comfortable with, and that I feel like I belong with myself now, and that I feel that I can face myself with joy now. And there's your joy. And what this is ultimately going to lead you to is that you're not going to feel as frantic anymore. You're not going to feel like you have to run around pleasing people anymore. You're going to feel very, very comfortable with stillness and with solitude and with being with yourself when you need to be. And you're not going to feel like, you always have to be galloping from one thing to another to try to make everybody happy around you, because you have your own joy, and that's enough, So, and it's also connecting with letting your spirit carry you internally. And any galloping you're going to do, it's going to be internal, but with spirit carrying you, whatever spirit is for you in that case. So that, card number 4, people, is your reading for what do you need to know the most right now. I wish you, and this is for, once again, whenever you find this video, I wish you, as always, all the best with this especially, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.